So this is the new Insta360 Ace Pro 2. It's got a dual chip system inside for optimal image performance, and it's got a new wind guard on the front for pro level audio. We've also got reverse charging, which is the first time in any action camera, as well as fast charging, and updates to the already great 8K video and pure video mode. How does it stack up to the supposed king of action cameras, the GoPro 13? We're going to compare it in this video today. Image quality first. Let's jump into some examples of putting these cameras side by side to see how they perform against each other in different scenarios. So specs wise, these cameras are closer than ever, but there are a few key features where I think the Insta360 Ace Pro 2 really excels over the other ones on the market. We've got the Action 5 Pro, which will be doing a video against this as well. So if you're new to the channel, please make sure you subscribe and press the bell. That comparison will be coming soon as well. Sensors, we've got 1/1.3 inch sensor, the same sort of sensor you've got on the Action 5 Pro on the Ace Pro 2, and then the GoPro still has the 1/1.9 inch sensor. That really does have an advantage in the way of low light footage. The bigger the sensor, the more light that is let in. So it's just a matter of fact that the low light performance of the Ace Pro 2 is far superior than the GoPro. This GoPro 13 is not a low light camera. You can get some kind of footage with it. Obviously it works in low light, but it's not usable. The Ace Pro 2 is the king of low light. The pure video mode has been improved this year. They're calling it Pure Video Plus. The dual chip system adds AI, algorithmic noise reduction, something like there's some kind of magic going on in there. The low light performance of this camera is absolutely amazing. So yeah, if you're filming in any kind of low light, the Pure Video mode is the way to go with the Insta360 Ace Pro 2. It's the only camera I'd recommend for low light performance. As regards to the chip, you've got a 5nm chip inside, as well as that Pro image chip, which helps with all that image quality. The GoPro 13 is still using the GP2 chip, and you can notice it. It's sluggish compared to the other two cameras on the market. The user experience of the Ace Pro 2 is far superior to the GoPro. It's still clunky, still slow. I've still had freezing issues, overheating issues with the GoPro 13. They really need to sort out the chip-wise power and the processing in this camera to make it compete with the other two cameras in the market, in my opinion. We've got a new wider field of view on here, this new Summerit lens, the Leica technology they've got built into here, 157 degrees of standard field of view compared to the 156 degrees on the GoPro, so slightly wider by 1 degree. Incidentally, the Ace Pro has a new removable lens cap this year, so you can actually take the lens cap off, replace it if you do damage it. That was the biggest complaint of the previous generation of this camera. It didn't have a removable lens guard. Now we've got it inside of here, and they've got like the updated Leica colours as well. They've just updated via firmware for this, so you can get some really nice image out of this camera. I think the image quality is stellar. So you know what's better than 4K? 8K. This is 8K on the Ace Pro 2. We have now 30, 25 and 24 frames per second in 8K on the new version, and then we've got 5.3K 24 frames per second on the GoPro 13. So this is just an image quality test. It's really not down to me to tell you which one is best. The image hopefully will speak for itself. You can decide. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. This is a built-in audio as well from the Ace Pro. It's supposed to have the best audio of any action camera. We'll test that out a little bit more when the weather changes, because it's deadly silent. Not a breath of wind, nothing tonight. It's absolutely beautiful. So when the weather changes, gets a bit worse, and we've got a bit of a windy condition, we'll test out the audio to see how that new wind sort of muff they've built into that, which is detachable. Comes in the box with it. You don't have to buy it separately. If you want to take it off for underwater stuff, you can take it off. It just clicks off, and you click on the plastic one just to cover it up, and then you can take it in water. But the beauty of this Ace Pro 2 is that it's sort of good for everything. This, the ultimate vlogging camera. If that audio is really good in windy conditions, it will be, because it's got that flip up screen as well, and the Leica lens with the Leica colour profiles. It's just a fantastic camera. I'm going to be taking it to Iceland on a trip soon. We are going to Iceland for 4 days, so that's the camera I'm going to be taking with me. So if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that video. I'm very impressed with the way it looks so far. Let me know in the comments down below what you think compared to the other cameras. So we've got upgraded 8K video, 8K 30 instead of just limited to 8K 24 from last year's model. We've got 4K 60 in HDR. The GoPro is 5.3K, and there's no doubt the image quality does look good out of the GoPro in the right conditions, and that is key when it comes to this camera. It has to be in the right conditions. The weather, the light and everything has to be optimal for this camera to perform well. But don't get me wrong, if the weather is good, this camera does produce stellar image quality, but it doesn't in all conditions, and that's kind of what the Ace Pro 2 does. It really does look really good in all conditions. Low light, sort of muggy, horrible days we have here in the UK a lot, bright conditions as well. That 8K footage, if you want to go up to that, is brilliant. And then of course you've got the 4K clarity zoom, where you can double tap on the screen to zoom into things twice, and that really comes in handy when you're vlogging, you're out traveling, you want to zoom in a little bit on something. Then you don't get that option with other cameras. It's a digital zoom on here and you lose resolution. You've got 2x zoom with no resolution loss with the Ace Pro 2. Battery wise, they're similar. We've got an 1800 mAh battery on the Ace Pro 2, 1900 mAh on the GoPro. I've found with a battery test that I've done that battery wise they are pretty similar in performance. The GoPro did overheat though in my overheating test, which is going to be another video coming up before the battery ran out. It was on 55% but then it overheated, so it's just something to think about. GoPro still has that issue. Weight wise, we've got 175 grams here for the Ace Pro 2 and 158 grams for the GoPro 13. They both got log footage if you want to shoot in log now. That's something else that's new this year on the Ace Pro 2. We've got new iLog, which is like a flat profile for color grading and post-production. That's new on the Ace Pro 2 this year, and we've still got GP log for post-production color editing with the GoPro as well. 50 megapixel photos now this year on the Ace Pro 2, and that sort of blows the GoPro out of the water. 27 megapixel photos you've still got in here. And the Ace Pro 2 can go down to a depth of 12 meters underwater without any further protection. The GoPro is still at 10 meters. So let's test out that new wind guard on the front. This, by the way, is removable. So if I give you a shot here, you can take this off. It clips off. So if you're going in water, you need to take this off, and it comes in the box with another plastic clip to go over the microphone if you're going underwater. But if you're using this as a vlogging camera out and about in windy environments, which a lot of the time here in the northern hemisphere it is, then you've got this new wind guard on the front, which is a wind muff essentially for good audio quality. And then you've got really good quality algorithms inside of this camera to help with noise reduction and stuff like that. So there's a lot of clever stuff going on as far as audio. So how do they compare in that department? Woo. It's so windy, oh my god. This is an audio test with the Insta360 Ace Pro. New wind guard on the front of this for improved audio supposedly. This is the built-in audio from the Insta360 Ace Pro 2 standalone. One thing I will mention is that there is in the menu a feature for changing the gain on external audio sources. So I'm really hoping you can either plug a USB-C microphone into this with a upcoming firmware update, or Insta360 make their own external audio microphone. I'm really hoping they do that, because of course that's where DJI has a slight advantage. You can connect two of the DJI mics to the Action 5 Pro for external audio in certain scenarios. That does help, but they've improved the audio anyway. This is a built-in audio from the Insta360 Ace Pro 2. Audio test, built-in audio test with the GoPro 13. This is the audio you can expect from the camera if you're just using it standalone. Standalone audio test with the GoPro 13. So I thought I'd try this. It said in the menu, I found like a thing in the menu that said external audio gain. So I plugged the Rode Wireless Pro microphone via USB-C cable into the USB-C port of the Ace Pro 2. And then I've got the transmitter on me here. So you are using now external audio, and I actually read some of the stuff that Insta360 sent me, and yes, you can use external audio mics through the USB-C port now with the Ace Pro 2. I didn't know that until like I was editing this video, so I'm just putting this bit in. It's compatible with the DJI mic, stuff like the Hollyland Lark, which is another amazing microphone, but I use the Wireless Pro from Rode a hell of a lot, and this is now compatible. So although you've got the wind guard on there for really good audio standalone, you can now plug external microphones into this via the USB-C port to get amazing external audio, which is killer. A much needed feature, and I'm so glad they've added that. So yeah, that's really exciting. So fast charging is something that both of these cameras, like the Action 5 Pro has as well. These two cameras just charge so fast. 18 minutes up to 80% this camera goes. It's so fast for charging. As with the GoPro, you haven't got that. It just takes an eternity to charge these batteries up. So you're gonna need batteries for the GoPro 13 if you are thinking about buying this camera. And again this year, for some reason, they've changed the design of the batteries. So your older batteries from the 12, the 11, the 10 don't work inside of this camera now, which is a really unfortunate thing. They've sort of changed the orientation of the battery connection. While the performance is pretty similar battery-wise, fast charging makes a huge difference to me. And this year on the Ace Pro 2, you've got reverse charging. So imagine the scenario. If you're in some kind of emergency scenario, you've got your Garmin InReach or something, you need to send a message or get in touch with emergency services, but it's dead. You can use this to reverse charge those devices, like your phone, for instance, as well. So that's the first time you've seen that feature in any action camera. We've now got reverse charging in the Ace Pro 2. That's a sick feature. If you're using any camera for vlogging, this is a camera I really do fully recommend. We've got face priority for the exposure. We've got active HDR. in 60 frames per second and below, which looks really, really great. And then you've got that big flip up screen there, the 2.5-inch screen, so you can see yourself, get yourself framed properly. It really does help for vlogging. You have got the front facing screens on the other two cameras, but they're quite small. Having that flip up screen really makes a difference. And I tell you what other scenario it really makes a difference, which is what GoPro could actually benefit from, is when you're doing a low down shot. If you're doing a low down shot and you're trying to get something with the macro lens from GoPro, for instance, you can't really do it because the screen doesn't rotate. It's very, very hard. How many times have you put a camera on a tripod and you're trying to bend down like this to see what's on that screen to frame your shot up? With the Ace Pro 2 and the Ace Pro, you've got that articulating screen, so you can just do it halfway and look down on it to see your shot. That, for me, especially with the videos that I make, is a killer and kind of deal-breaking feature. We've still got gesture control this year. That comes in very handy. If you've got this mounted somewhere else you can't reach, you can use gesture control to control your camera. And they've updated the pre-recording mode. So for, I don't know, for fishermen out there, if you're trying to capture your catch, then you can record up to 120 seconds pre-recorded this year on the Ace Pro 2. That comes in very handy, just in case you forget to press record after you land your catch. It gives you that little bit of extra time to capture 120 seconds before you actually start recording. And then, of course, because you've got that powerful 5nm chip inside from last year, it's the same as the Ace Pro 1. You've got that AI system, you've got pause recording, you've got cancel recording, you can take snapshots while you're recording. The AI system flags up moments that it thinks are important, and then in the application you can put it together in sort of a nice video, and it does it all for you. The editing process is really, really powerful. So you've got all that AI assistant still built in from last year's model. That's fantastic. And the app is brilliant. If you haven't used an Insta360 camera in the past, the application and the software is where they really excel. You can jump into there, download your footage, you can edit it further, you can add the stats like we've mentioned. There's creative things like AI warp, which uses AI technology to really have some creative effects to your images. You've got highlights, you've got other different shot lab modes, you've got step-by-step guides in there. The application is phenomenal, and one of the main reasons I always recommend Insta360 cameras is because the application and the editing software, even the desktop studio for editing 360 footage, is just far superior than anything else on the market at the moment. Other manufacturers just aren't keeping up with that side of these cameras. So yeah, if you're after the best overall user experience when it comes to using an action camera, a 360 camera, then Insta360 really are top of the market at the moment. GoPro have special effects built in, which is really good. You've got star trails, you've got light painting modes, vehicle lights, and those effects are very cool. That's all built into the camera, so you can do it in camera, but you've still got all that kind of thing that you can play with on the Ace Pro 2, your star lapse, time shift, time lapse, and then AI selfie stick remover, which is another one that GoPro doesn't feature. So if you're on a skateboarder, for instance, and you want to record a little bit with the selfie stick, the AI software will remove that selfie stick for you. It's another good feature, and yeah, the software and everything is just far superior on Insta360 cameras in my opinion. Which one should you buy? And this is like a video I make most years, and I always sort of say the same sort of thing. If you want the best camera for most scenarios that you're going to be in, then the Ace Pro 2 is the camera to go for. The GoPro 13, like I've mentioned at the start of the video, does look very good in certain particular scenarios, but in others it just looks really, really bad. So it's a bit hit and miss. It's a bit Jekyll and Hyde, this camera, for me. There's some other things like the accessories that you have to buy, the ND filters, the macro lens, the other things that you want to get the most out of this camera. It starts to become a very expensive device, where this just comes with everything in the box that you need to get started. While the GoPro, no doubt, good action camera in certain scenarios, I still recommend the Insta360 Ace Pro 2 for everything else. It is a phenomenal device, and it's going to be the one I pick up when I leave the house in the morning to shoot my footage. Okay, that's it for this video. If you want to know anything else about these cameras, let me know. I will drop a link for the Insta360 Ace Pro 2 down in the description down below, and there might be a free gift or a discount code down there for you. Stay tuned, and if anything updates over the weeks and months, I'll put it in the pinned comment for you. But yeah, great cameras, but the Insta360 Ace Pro 2 for me is the one I choose. Okay, that's it for this one. See you soon, guys. Bye.